question is this, since
Your name,
this
please.
is,
Name.
I'm Ava from Synchrony.
Aba of
Yeah,
Synchrony.
yeah. So, kasi we've been talking about technology replacing our workforce. So, with these advancement in mind, how can we make sure that instead of laying off these people, because as HR persons, we aspire to be a caring kind of human resources personnel. We don't want them to lay them off kasi we don't want them to lose their jobs. So how can we, with these advancement in mind, move up these employees up into the value chain para hindi sila mawala, but instead give them another employment in hand?
Okay, so I'm hearing that again, it's about the fear and becoming human and trying to be more, say, accepting individual that, hey, what happens is we adapt to technology and you get to disrupt the workforce, they're gone, right? So you need to, again, go back to the entire organization, figure out what are your end result that you'd like to deliver, figure out what could be automated, and from the workforce that will be impacted, try to see with the technology that you're introducing, with the transformation that you're all going through, what kind of new skill sets is that generating? And if you potentially know, based on study, based on your transformation journey, then let those people actually adapt to what you say upskilling, get them to upskilling or reskilling, transfer them to role where they could be more valuable, transfer them to a position where they could see and experience. Again, as you know, my point is, it's not about losing the job. It's shifting to a new gear, trying to put it to, say, another lane for this workforce to use the technology only as an enabling tool. Um, it was a fear before that technology will replace. It's not anymore. It shouldn't be a fear. It shouldn't be actually like a threat, rather, but a challenge for those individuals. Are they willing? The problem is there's so much people doing it and as a custom of the past, especially yung mga say they've been doing the job for more than 5 or 10 years. When you introduce change or innovation and improvement alone, sometimes they resist change. That's the problem with most of us. And you need people there to actually challenge the state, to prepare the workforce to become a better one, relevant to the future of work that you're trying to introduce.
All right, there's actually a follow-up question to that. Because
Sure.
I heard with your answer that we're going to focus on upskilling, reskilling, depends on the skill that are needed connected to the technology at hand. Now, the next question is, in your capacity, since you're with Asia Select, what do you think are the cost-effective na ways to upskill and reskill these people? Kasi, well, right now, we think that, for example, if there is a cost to it, how can we curb down that cost, and what can we introduce to make sure that what we do will have an ROI and it is cost effective?
That's a good point. You know, but the thing is, I'll put it back again to your role, guys, as a talent, the second role. Diba? Parang what has happened is that we're too dependent on our company to invest on our learning. But you see, there are free platforms that we can all learn. I don't want to promote, but there's a lot. I'm sure your Coursera, Udemy, and all, that we learn. You know, what I've realized is that working with millennials and younger generation, or maybe people who are tired, retiring, sometimes they don't like to learn anymore. Parang they've always been complacent and contented. So you don't just look at your companies to be investing on you. Find time to invest. Find time to invest on what can be learned, what could be taught. A happy, say for example, even by mere chat and creating social community network, even by reading Facebook. Sometimes if I learn something new, what I do, I actually repost it in my Facebook. So if you connect with me in Facebook, you'll see a lot of my learnings that are actually upward movement, which means that I've learned from it, and if I develop myself better now, that means that could also work for somebody else. And people here, leaders here, who've seen me grown again from a very young PMapper then, late, late 90s yun, I actually have evolved myself very different. Because I always embrace a lifelong journey. Meaning, life learning journey is about I don't want to stop knowing and trying to be curious about many things. It's all available. In fact, I envy the generation now. Before, but these are my parents naman, no? Wala, I see them, and I see in our house before, encyclopedia ang kakapal. Pero you need to open that book to take effort to read it. Eh ngayon, Googleable, Wikipediable, ano pa ba kailangan mo? It's all there. I take my time. Ako, learn. And if you're talking about company-initiated, position it as well. When you need this talent, you actually have them already. The journey of shifting them there is put the value of who are willing to take that risk to evolve themselves to become better. Your company shouldn't be questioning that because they will deliver the result that's desired. But if, again, strike balance of both, you could actually become relevant by just doing your personal journey and then justify the cost value proposition that you'd like to have your company to invest on the employees' learning. Yep.
Thank you.
So, I mean, any one of you here, I suppose you are all anyone doing personal investment on your learning na hindi kayo dependent in your company today? Who attended this innovation summit at your own costs? At your own cost. Eh, kayo po may-ari ng kumpanya nyo eh. Anyone? I'd like to recognize you. Wala, you're all paid by your company. See, sayang, I should have given you another prize. Yes.
Do we have questions pa from the audience? Ako po, I have a question.
Yes.
Going back to recruiting, talent acquisition, based on your very long experience, ayoko na ba bilangin yung years?
Long.
How did the traditional ways of recruiting fare with the new digital platforms? And what's the success rate in terms of retaining the talents hired through the digital platforms?
Okay. This could be a little biased, but you know, in the past, where I was groomed and trained, medyo kasi the foundation of HR was deep enough for us to understand, even assessment. Did you know that before? I don't see this anymore now. Any one of you still doing a psychometrician job? Wala na, di ba? It's all outsourced. It's all in the digital, like web-based. Tama po ba? You're using an application or web-based assessment. Is that correct? Did you know, again, I worked for a bank, and I can tell you that. I worked with the Development Bank of the Philippines, my first job. I have to bring my work because I need to correct psychological report. Kahit po sa panaginip, alam ko na po yung SRA, ABDC, ganon. Kabisado ko yun kahit walang template. Kasi may template pa kami and we're using that. And then the way we make report is like that. So, to your question, why am I taking it up? That discipline was strong enough. So the foundation was good. My observation lately, that recruitment is now tagged to be more like recruitment marketing. And I've always want to correct that. Hindi po tayo merely doing marketing job. While I agree that it's social media, that's a platform for you to attract talent. May discipline pa rin po siya, becoming psychology, behavioral science, where you need to be mindful that these are human, that there are capabilities that you need to understand using behavioral competency interview or otherwise other tools so that you make the right decision for you to recommend somebody to a specific role. Those are actually what makes it different right now. I encourage the younger generation for you to figure out why is that psychological report generated from a web-based saying that this person is qualified. You need to understand. What has happened is that you have all become dependent on what the assessments say. And then when you're asked by your HR director, your country head, or your hiring manager, why are you recommending? Oh, because the report is saying, but why? Hindi nyo naman paliwanag. You lost that point of becoming human. And that's basically why we're here. While you try to innovate, deepen the foundation of what it means to be in HR and then what it means to become a true-blooded recruitment professional. I'm glad that I had a journey to see the analog, the spray age, and then at the same time, the digital age. So I could be native to all, But I think what's important is how do you blend all of those learnings into one great platform. So kung hindi po natin naintindihan yung psychological report, wag po
Yes.
tayo mag-make decision just out of you like the person, how he looks, because that's what you call bias.
Yes, bias. Thank you, Sir Gilbert. And just to share, because of digital technology, this is my takeaway from your talk. Because of digital technology, we are all, or we can be all connected. And through connection, that's how we leverage technology in improving talent acquisition, employee experience, and our employer brand. So with that, thank you, Sir Gilbert.
Thank you again.
Please
Thank
stay.
you.